and they keep saying, which I think is the most wonderful thing, don't worry, when he becomes president, he's going to be totally mature. And
well, he said being presidential is easy, and he'll do it at the appropriate time.
But what does that say about your constituency if what you're saying to them is, look, the only way that I can win this part of the race is by being an unrepentant, narcissistic asshole? Because that's what my voters like. But once I have to appeal to everybody, I'll be cool.
Yeah. But the fact is that you look at all these exit polls from primary after primary, and the big number that he commands is he tells it like it is. He says stuff other politicians aren't willing to say. And you spoke earlier about people who are frightened, because of these changes in the economy that have left them without the kind of future that they thought they would have, and they're eating that up.
Right, but that, again, and this gets to the point of...
Authenticity is what they say.
This gets to the point, though, of the press versus the campaign. And what we see in the press is they're covering the campaign, but they're not covering veracity or, so the exit polls say this is what people think, then someone in the press has to come out and go, wow, people must be assholes, because that's not okay to think. It's not okay to have nostalgia for the Mad Men society and think that ignorance is virtue. And they have twisted this around so that his ignorant pronouncements are somehow a sign of great character. It's like where I grew up, when people go like, hey, look, no disrespect. I'm not saying your mother's a whore. I'm saying, and you're like, I think that's what you're saying.
The difference is he would just say your mother's a whore.
Right, but when he says, people are so nervous. See, here's what's so amazing about this. So the whole idea of political correctness is everybody's so sensitive. Just get over it. Why should African Americans be so sensitive about police shootings? Why do they have to be so sensitive about years of systemic racism creating economic disparity? Come on. I'm not a slave owner. Donald Trump couldn't handle us making a joke about him. Vanity Fair, Graydon Carter did a joke about Donald Trump's hands 25 years ago. He's still not fucking over it.
And his hands aren't any bigger.
So Muslims, not true, by the way. He actually did
finger
a deal,
extensions.
Trump International, and if you see them now, they say Trump and go left. Built. But the idea being that Muslims, hey man, all he's saying is they're evil and shouldn't be allowed in this country. He's just telling it like it is. But God forbid you say happy holidays in December. It's fucking war. So who is it who's exactly sensitive here? We're only talking about what are the trigger points. And the trigger points to me seem to be, on one side, grounded in a certain reality of life that only those with no experience or empathy towards what those individuals are going through are having. And the other seems to be a clinging to a societal paradigm that just doesn't exist anymore and probably never did. When was America great? What is this time that he speaks of? 81 to 82? Like, what are we talking about? And who took your country away from you?
Yeah.
Whose country, whose is it?
Yeah.
Take up the argument with the founders. Take it up with the Age of Reason. That's all men are created equal. That's fucked the whole thing up.
Yeah. The thing that I think this election, though, you say it's not much different. Trump has basically embraced that tactic. I mean, he is relentless. He is ubiquitous. He is out there all the time.
He's just learned how to. He's just doing judo against them. What works for 24-hour network? What is it incentivized for? It is incentivized for. Here's what you would want it to be incentivized for: clarity. It is incentivized for what? Conflict. The voices that are amplified are the ones that are the most conflict-oriented, the most extreme. Those are the guys that get the airtime. So if they're incentivized for conflict, Trump is not playing this like everybody keeps talking about. He's amazing. He's not. This is the first season of Survivor. This is reality show 101.
Right.
I'm going to be an enormous dick at the beginning of the show to get all this attention, and then once I make it to final counsel, Then I'm going to reveal. He's, what's the guy's name? Johnny Fairplay. He's Johnny Fairplay. He's the guy who said, oh, my grandmother died, and don't vote me out. And then finally, when he got to the final tribal council, that's what he's playing.